All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Bodybuilding Breakdown. I am joined by Tonio Burton, just finished eighth place in the men's open lineup at the 2023 Mr. Olympia. One day after the Olympia. Tonio, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming on.
Oh man, appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
No, I'm
Um,
glad you were here.
one day out the Olympia, cool, go. One day out, after, and honestly, it's still setting in. Um, you get some comments here and there about, oh, yeah, you got there, but if this person showed up and that person showed up, it wouldn't have been whatever it was, which is cool. I mean, I respect it. Everyone has their opinions.
Uh, look,
Um,
look, you can only compete against two shows up on that day, right? That's out of your control. But
right.
the things that are in your control, though, is what I want to ask you about. You really made some big strides this year in your physique, like even the difference from the New York Pro to now, which really was not that long ago. Not to mention from the 2022 Olympia to what we just saw yesterday. Tell me about that journey and what you really had to go through to build yourself up to where you're at now.
Oh wow. From last year's Olympia, so I got sick during peak week last year. I think I drove down to Vegas, and as I was driving, I started to feel like sick too. I had to pull over and actually sleep at a gas station.
Really?
Yeah, and then get into Vegas. We stayed with a friend, and I was like taking so much vitamin C and Dayquil and Benadryl, and because my nose was just stuffed, like I was a mouth breather for the longest. And then,
Dude, it wasn't the C word, was it? Like,
I kind of think it was. Like more that I think about it, I kind of think it was, or I was even thinking pneumonia, even because my side was starting to hurt. And
yes.
I did a posing routine with KJ, center stage, my
Yeah.
posing coach, and we would hit two or three poses, and he'll make me hold for a couple of seconds, and I'm bent over sweating. Like it just was so painful. To where he was like, "Yo, we shouldn't do it." And I told my coach, like, we probably shouldn't do this year's Olympia. Like something's not right. And he was like, "No, you look good. We could pull it through." So we stayed with it, and then my opposing coach actually reached out and was like, "Cut it. Like this isn't. It's not a good look." So then we were planning on doing it, and then I think Thursday night came, and my body just like flushed everything. Like I just
Okay.
started, getting dry. Like I started leaning out. My definition started to pop, and we were like, "Okay, maybe we'll be good." And then,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, we were pushing, a little bit of too much stuff, vitamin C and some water pills, and I think overdid it to where I couldn't even get a pump backstage, and I was just like smooth. So yeah, that's why that look was so bad. And then New York Pro came, and I was with Dylan, and he was mentored with Phil Viz, and we all know
Yeah.
Phil Viz is smart. So whatever he had, they were planning and whatever it was working, and it actually made me bring a fuller look than I've ever brought anywhere. Even when I won Legion. But now I get with Justin under Camp Jensen, and the conditioning that we brought, I was actually lighter than what I was for New York Pro. So New York Pro was 217. This year's
217.
Olympia, I was 217 New York Pro when I went.
All right. I didn't know if you told me what you weighed at this year's Olympia, and I didn't know if you wanted to say what did you weigh at the Olympia this year? Come on,
This year's, what was it, Friday morning? I was 215.8 or something, 214.8.
dude. Like, if there was
We
ever
actually
a
hit
test,
212.
if there, I think
Yeah.
I saw 212.8 was the picture you sent me.
Yeah, we
Like,
actually hit 212.
if there was ever a testament to the fact that the scale means absolutely nothing, that's it. Like, unreal, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
unreal. And I mean, you were matching with some of the top guys up there. When you came out for the initial the initial callouts there, you were standing between Samson and Regan. That's right, right?
And Regan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was that picture floating around online of the back
On
double
the back
bicep.
double.
Yeah, yeah. I know you. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, you had him like, and
Mhm.
what's that? 80 pounds or something
Yeah.
that he supposedly had on you.
Yeah.
Scale
I
means
think
nothing.
when I found out I was at check-ins, I found I was walking out behind Samson. Found out Regan walking out, behind me. I was happy, I was like, I'm in the mix. this is my chance to show that I can hold my own. And I feel like we did. I don't know as far as of course, more size. I think that's the only thing that I really lack. To really sit there and them let me dance with them. But as far as getting that second call out and moving around a little bit, I feel like we could have moved up a few more spots had we did more rounds, because some people don't have posing conditioning. So it would have been, another way to just move up in the ranks. So, I'm happy with this placing, but I just know we will bring better next year.
How much posing practice did you do leading up to the show?
Between Justin and Joey, nonstop. Like, I was getting sore from posing, to where some
Okay.
of our posing, we were like, hey, I can't really squeeze my hamstrings and glutes because they're tight. Like, they feel pumped still.
Yeah.
So then we'll just go through, little brief little turns. But when I'm posing with KJ, he'll make you hold. You do probably 4 rounds of holding, and it's not a round and take a break. As soon as you finish your last shot, he was like, all right, fine, relax. And you're just going again. And your stomach is going. He's like, hey, control your stomach. And you'll sit there and he'll make you hold it until you fix it. So it works, You've seen it at New York. You've seen it at Cal when we had to pose multiple times. I wasn't sweating at all, As to where you had people bent over and trying to catch their breath, and I'm just relaxed, smiling like I always do.
Hey man, that's what makes the difference, I was really happy to see you standing between both Samson and Regan, but I'm wondering, was there anybody else in particular that you were hoping to stand next to?
Oh yeah, when I talked to when Brendan Kurt, when everyone thought Brendan was out,
Yeah.
I actually had messaged him, and we were talking, and I knew everything that was going on. I knew he was still in, and I even told him like, "Yo, I'm just happy I get to, possibly get to share the stage with you."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it would have been great to stand next to him as well, because we're more of the same height. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
um, Derek was in the same call out, but he was at the other end. And, we somewhat have that aesthetic look, so it would have been another nice person to stand next to. I think with a lot of these bigger guys, not to sound cocky or anything, but I'm actually happy about it. I think I had the best back shots on stage. I don't know who competed with him. My conditioning was the best from the back, more detailed and everything else too.
There's a
So
lot of
I don't
people
know.
that agree with you. I've seen those comments online. There's a lot of people that agree with you. There's definitely a lot of emphasis put on the back double when it comes to Derek, just from the sheer width. But in
Right,
terms of detail, I even said it in my wrap up video when it came to conditioning. Like, I really don't think that anybody matched you when it came to that conditioning factor in this show. Charles was well conditioned. I think he was better
right,
conditioned at the Legion, but conditioning is the thing that can really push you through, right? And you had it.
right. Yeah, I don't know. And like you said from some of the comments too, is everyone looks good, but there's something about Tonio's muscle that looks different. And
Yeah,
honestly, I think it's from having the football background that I've had. So I've been lifting for years before actually lifting for bodybuilding. And I've been doing other sports. So I think that all plays a part in my muscle maturity, and it shows with the graininess.
absolutely. You've got a kid that does football now too, eh?
Yeah. I was like, he's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
here right now.
That's cool, man. That's cool. No, I've got a 6-year-old boy, and he's really starting to get into a bit of music. The gym
Okay.
it's the gym's coming, but yeah, it's really cool when you can kind of pass that on, right?
Oh yeah. And it's funny because I was just talking today about how, we say, I wish I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
and things would be different. And when you have a little one, that it's true now. So his season just ended yesterday. They lost their championship game. And I told him that I'm proud of him, I love him, and be ready for bulking season now. You know, so he's gonna be bulking with me.
Yeah, him and you. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So, and then his younger brother, he can't really do too much growing because he does boxing. So they're really weight class. So his training is
Yeah.
different. So
Yeah, but I mean, you guys are it's still getting the training in, right? I mean, every single one of you can show up down the gym and get it all done together. That's actually really cool.
hmm so it's definitely, I like the knowledge that I have now. I could pass down, from the positive to the negatives I went through. Now I'm that path for them. So it's the biggest, I don't know, the biggest takeaway from life I have right now. So I
No,
love
that's awesome,
it.
man. No, and look, and in the eyes of a lot of fans out there, I mean, you're just getting started too, man. I mean, 2024, you're looking at the potential for a big season, you know, big
Oh
season.
yeah.
So you're going to do an off season. Do you know how long of an off season you're going to take?
So it depends. Um Me and Justin haven't really talked about it. But other coaches and judges put it out there. Because we talked about taking a year off, but instead of them wanting me missing a year, they're like, why don't you play with 212 for a little bit? And yeah, and I don't know, like I guess you could say it's pride that I have too. Where I'm kind of like, well, I feel like that's running from the greater challenge, you know. I think if I was to go 212 now, that I would qualify for the O and I would be running in that top three, right away. That's where with the open, I got to battle with these monsters and it's more exciting and I actually get more of a thrill from it too. So I don't know.
You know, that's something that I didn't think that you would consider after already going into 212. I don't know of any other competitor that has done 212, placed in the top 10 at the open, and then considered going back to 212. You know,
Right.
that would be quite the story. But I understand what you're saying as well. I mean, at the same time, like I said, dude, you just finished top 8 in the open. Who's to say that next year you couldn't do top 6 and then keep moving from there, right? So
Right. Well,
you got
that's
some
what I've been
thinking to
telling
do,
people
man.
too. I've been telling, people who's been asking, like, yeah, this year was top 8. So, I mean, if you think about it, 2022, I counted, the spots because after 16, everyone's 16. But I was 20th. And
Yeah.
then we come in this year and I'm down to single digits. So I'm like, yo, you give me another year. Even Brandon Curry came up to me backstage actually. And he was like, you know what? He was like, you should, be placed a little higher. I see you higher. He was like, but we all pay our dues. We all work for it. We got to get to a certain, look before we get looked at, which is true. Like I said, these dudes are just as short as me or shorter, but up close, you can see why they're where they're at, and he told me, he goes, well, we see you coming, we know what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and, Dexter, I talked to him multiple times, and he's even said the same thing, like, you're on your way, stay with it. So, but I mean, I don't know. I like the open. I like battling out with these bigger dudes and not being the biggest one on stage and still being able to, blow them out. So I like to keep fighting.
Like I said, you got some thinking to do, man, especially after you just saw, you know, a guy like Keon Pearson take out Sean Clarita. You're really
Mm-hmm.
seeing the aesthetics come through and be rewarded, you know?
Right.
And it's a good look for bodybuilding. It absolutely is. So what you're going to see now after this is you're going to see all the comparison videos online of Tonio Burton 2023 Olympia versus Keon Pearson 2023 Olympia. I can see it coming now. Yeah, I can see it coming. Yeah,
It's funny.
watch out for
I
that.
seen Keon. I seen Keon and Azadi walking, and you could tell how happy he was, and him in his own little world tour. He didn't even see me coming, and I reached over down the escalator. I reached over the wall and I grabbed him, and freaked them both out. But just seeing how happy he was from that too, because I remember when we did the 212 Olympia 2021. Keon didn't do good at all. He got sick or something to where he just flared up. And
Yeah,
we were backstage and he seen I was bummed out and he came up to me. He was like, I want you to remember, Ronnie Coleman placed last at the Olympia. And he goes, so just watch, our time's coming. And next thing you know, like every year since then, Keon's been making noise. So, I mean, I respect him for that. He said he was going to do something. He set out to do it. And I think he did more than what he thought he was going to do sooner. So I actually respect him for that.
and it was only a couple of seasons ago that Keon said he wasn't going to compete past the age of like 30 years old. I think it was. I don't know what he is now, but yeah, I mean, he kept going, and good thing he did. I mean, it was a pretty big upset. You know, everybody expected Sean to come in and dominate, just like everybody expected Chris Bumstead to dominate. You know, so
Right.
it was a really really big deal for Keon to come in and win that. And now that I think about it some more, it would be really, really interesting to see you stand next to him. But you know what? Maybe it's Keon that's got to come up to open. Maybe that's what's got to happen.
That's what we want.
Yeah,
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 I mean, you think about it. Look at the 212 guys that have came up.
yeah.
You know, Kamal came up and he's won some shows. Hadi was a 212 competitor first.
So was
Derek was
Derek.
212.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so I mean, I think Keon would do amazing in 212. Who's going to match his structure?
He's talked about doing it too. He does have intentions to do it from what I've seen in interviews out there.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah,
supposed to
he
do Legion
does.
Sports Fest.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
he was going to do Legion, but he ended up doing it. But I know he didn't announce it, or his lady didn't either. So I just say, it just made me anxious. It's kind of like waiting for a movie to come out. You just see the trailer too, So I was
Yeah,
hoping he would have jumped
yeah.
in it because, I mean, there's no one I could think of who can match his structure. Yeah, it's crazy, especially when he pulls that vacuum.
Yeah, well, you could match his structure. That you could say. But listen, uh, Keon is one thing. I wanted to ask you about the experience at the Olympia too. As an athlete, we heard a lot of things last year from being down in Florida about how it was less than ideal conditions backstage for guys. When it came to just being ready to get on that stage, having to go from building to building outside and shit like that. I heard it was a lot better this year. Did you find you had a better experience as an athlete this year?
Oh yeah, I think them getting rid of the point system was all the difference because instead of there being
Yeah.
300 athletes in one class, it was brought down so much. So, um, but as far as like the backstage last year compared to this year, this year's is bigger. There was more room to pose, room to glaze, room to pump up, and it didn't have three different categories back there at the same time, taking up everything. As to where last year, I think, man, like the size of a living room was a pump up room. Like it was so small, and then where they were glazing at or trying to do touch ups, there was no good lighting, so they were guessing pretty much on how good the 10 would look. So it was a lot of like I don't know. It seemed like backstage was just very cramped. As to where this year, you can tell how they planned it. They planned it way far out, and they knew what they were doing. The lighting was good backstage. You seen the pictures floating around backstage. There was good. There was an
Yeah.
area to go get plays, an area to pump up. People watching the show from backstage. It was perfect. As far as time goes, I mean, there's not much you can do. If an athlete's going to do his full posing round or just do 10 seconds of his posing round, or how many athletes that class has with all these shows that there is. So, I mean, you can't really knock them on time. That's just, you signed up for this. I think the only person I will have a problem with it is someone who's impatient. As to where most of the bodybuilders we got backstage when they told us to be, because they gave us a specific time to start walking down, and we kicked our feet up and we went to sleep. We ate a few meals and then we got back and started pumping when they told us to. And I mean, we had a notice of when we're getting on, hour, 45 minutes before. So everyone was getting good pump ups. Like it looked like everybody was working out in the gym. So I don't have no complaints as far as that goes. I don't know the crowd probably had complaints waiting so long, but what do you expect? You're going to save the big guys for the end.
Well, here and there's a couple of things in that. So from your perspective and from what you're saying about other athletes having the experience that they had in the open backstage, the fact that you guys went on later at night maybe wasn't as significant of a factor in terms of it being a negative aspect of this show as what's being portrayed out there, because you're seeing a lot of people saying, and you know what, Kyle Spit, man, myself included, I was like, why are these guys being expected to go on so late when they're typically, sleeping at this time? But from what you're saying, it really like you had the advance notice, so it wasn't as big of a deal.
Right. So they told us at check-ins, all right,
Yeah.
this day, start walking down there at, 9:15, or the next day, because we started at 7, get there before or get there at 6,
Yeah, but it's still late
6
at
earlier.
night, though. Is the thing is though, it's still late at night, right? Like, is that kind of a negative aspect? Because typical schedule, I mean, you'd be asleep by then, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's late, but I mean, I think again, I don't look at it like entitlement. I look at it more so as this is a game of technique. You have a coach for this reason, you know.
Okay.
With Justin, my brain, I told him, I was like, bro, I'm not doing any thinking. I turned my brain off. This part is on you, you know. And I was backstage. He was like, all right, eat. I'll eat. He'd be like, okay, now start pumping up. You know, take this salt, take this honey. Now pump up again. Like he was still coaching me while watching the show.
Yeah.
And as far as people saying, oh, athletes came off because they were backstage so long, I don't think we were off. I feel like we nailed our peak. And Derek wasn't off, you know, Hadi wasn't off,
Yeah. Yeah.
Samson wasn't off. So I
Yeah.
mean, as far as people who we're off because we were back here so late, I think that's a me problem.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. It being so late, not as significant of a factor as what people are making it out to be. So, Dan Solomon actually made some comments today. Or maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure. For one of the appearances that he had for like the press conference after the Olympia or whatever, where he was saying, "Listen, we hear what everybody's saying about how the Open is on last," but he was very very blunt about it. He was like, "This is the star attraction. Like you don't go and see Metallica in concert and Metallica opens the show, right? Like
Right.
that's the way he." Said some motherfucking band, whatever. But yeah, that's just it, right? And it does make sense in that way. If it's not a detriment to the athletes, then I mean, yeah, everybody's going to stick around. And he said that the fact of the matter is, if you guys went on first, and it's true, the auditorium would clear. I mean,
Right.
you'd have people gone, and that's not fair for everybody else. And look, even me, I did get some entertainment from watching some of the other divisions until you guys went on the stage. Like I'm not a huge follower of like men's physique, but I mean, I watched it and it was a good show, right? So I mean, you do get those experiences as well. So you're paying for the ticket, you may as well get in as much as you can too. That's another way of looking at it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you just like us as athletes, as fans, if you buy a ticket and go, you signed up for it.
yeah,
And it would just like, you said, if you put the main attraction first, who's going to stay after they're done? It's at the end of the day, too, they got to understand it's their business.
that's right.
They need to do what's going to make them, work for them, too. And as athletes, we know this. There's a little one
Hey,
in the
bud.
back.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's dude, he loves the camera. Like we got a bit of a gaming channel that we're trying to get off the ground now too, right? Like he loves it, man. TV for him is YouTube, right? So
Nice. Oh, yeah, same.
yeah,
Same for
yeah.
my. But
No, it's
yeah, no, we signed up for this.
yeah,
We knew what to expect, especially the guys who's been doing this, for forever.
sure,
We
yeah.
know what to expect. So I mean, I don't think it was so harsh that we were there so late when we didn't have to get there till late. It's not like they told us to be there at 6 and then we didn't go on stage till 12.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that was going on last year. Is we got there so early, and everybody was like, "Okay." Like you have people like Rami who probably needs to eat 600 grams of carbs each meal,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
not eating for 4 hours. Yeah, he's going to go soft, So I mean, but this time they were like, "All right, this is the time you should start walking there and be prepared."
And it was on
Justin
time.
came to right. Justin came to
Yeah.
my room. He said, "You're going to eat this right now. When we're backstage, you're going to eat this, and then if there's still time, we're going to just do this bacon and this honey or whatever." So he calculated it as a coach should. As an athlete, I wouldn't have thought of that, but he made me prepared for what I had to do. We came in, we stayed on point, we never got soft, we never went flat, like we were on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
Good,
it's
good.
preparation.
But and like I said, the biggest reason that this came up was because of last year, but also there's been a lot of talk out there about how, I mean, nobody thought that Derek was completely on point here. Nobody thought Samson was completely on point. Hadi, same thing. And everybody was blaming it on the fact that, it's late at night. Fucking Dave Palumbo was blaming it on that. So it seems like it's less of a thing there and it's more of a preparation thing.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when I will say we were backstage pumping up, and we would have to go walk up the stairs to sit behind the curtains for
Yeah.
what 15, 10, 15 minutes before going, that can cool some guys off to where they, lose that pop. But as far as it being because it was late, these guys were
Yeah,
off. If Hadi would have came 100% like normal, nobody would have said this was an issue. Or if he would have won even, you know what I mean?
you're
But
right.
because of Derek win, you're going to have Hadi fans saying, oh, it was because it was late. And if Hadi won, they would have said, oh, Derek lost because it was late. But I mean, truly, is any bodybuilder 100% perfect? Some parts are going to be harder than others. Some, body parts are going to look washed out. Some are going to look like they're in. So you can't really, I don't know. I don't do good with making the whole excuses and why this person wasn't good. Like last year's Olympia, I was fit. I'm not scared to say that. I mean, I'm going to just suck it up. I'm going to come back better the following year.
And you did. You did.
Yeah. So,
So there you go.
why
Yeah.
complain about it?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, you got to be able to adjust, right? And those last minute adjustments, sometimes those are the differences. You gain the experience from doing the competitions, right? And I mean, that's it. That's it. So,
Right.
no, it's good to know that everybody had a fairly level playing field when it came to that. Everybody had the expectation this year, so that really puts that to bed. So that's good. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about was there was a lot of stories going into this Olympia, of like we saw Hunter stand next to Andrew in Texas, right? And Andrew beat Hunter. So well, the lot of talk was still out there, like, well, I mean, Hunter still could beat Andrew when it comes to this competition. But one of the stories for me, a big one. Yeah, see, I already know Cal,
Cal
Cali
Pro.
Pro, dude, Cali Pro. You took the victory in New York. You went to Cali the week after, and Ross Flanagan ended up edging you out, and you took second there. You didn't end up getting the opportunity to stand next to Ross.
um, so I'm real cool with Ross. I just talked to him, talked about, going out to Houston and training with him. Told me to let me know. He sends me his favorite game. So I'm real cool with Ross. He won Cal. It was actually funny when he won Cal. And I'll tell this story to my grave, He didn't even realize he won. So when we were on stage and they called me first, he was just sitting there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I went up to him, I gave him a hug, and he was just sitting there. I said, bro, you just won. And then his eyes got big. And then, he walled out. I loved it. But
He lost
came
it,
on,
dude. He lost it. It was good.
oh yeah, it was great. Like I said, I remember how I felt when I won New York. So man, soak this moment up. And when I was seeing all the videos go all about our rematch, I'm a very, very extremely competitive person. And, I don't care, who it is. If you're on the other team, it's fair game. And coming into this year's Olympia, the goal was to not stand next to him. I wanted to come in the best I could to blow anyone out that I was compared to. And this isn't a shot against anybody, but when I was compared to Regan or Justin Shire or Ross or yeah, because that's what everyone was figuring out who's going to be in the top 10 out of West. In my eyes, it was all right. My job is to completely not even stand next to them, but to be put with the bigger boys, and show this is where I belong. I've put in the work, I've put in the time. I showed I can take out bigger dudes, and I don't understand why I don't get the credit. So I mean, I just came in to show up and show out, and we got to do that a little bit. I got to stand next to Crizzo, so I mean, that was even big.
Yeah, you did. You were aiming higher than Ross when it came to this show. I get you.
Oh
So
yeah,
so you weren't overly disappointed that you didn't get to stand next to him again to show that you really are the superior bodybuilder.
right. I mean, Derek didn't have to stand next to me to show he was better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see what you're
you
saying.
know.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Not yet. Not yet. Next year.
Oh
Next
yeah,
year.
it's coming. Just like Brandon Curry said, we know you coming. Like we know what's up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Do you feel
big.
do you feel like you're getting the credit that you deserve after this year now?
Oh yeah, I could see that I get more, fans and supporters out there, who are actually, favoring me to, win or outdo people. As to where I remember before, I was like, who is this guy? No one even knows him or even heard of him. So for it to go from that to, nah, Tonio's gonna win. No one can match this or match that. It's crazy. Like it's cool. Um, like who was it? I think it was muscular development. He did
Yeah.
a story when I was doing my pro debut, and when he was going over the athletes list, he skipped completely over my name. Everybody did. Which is it's cool because I've never competed before, other than when I was pro or turned pro. But when I win my pro debut and then get top 10 at the 212 Olympia, it started waking people up. But then it's like we restarted when we jumped into the open, to where people were like, yeah, right, this 212 guy, just there's no way he's competing with guys in the open. But then you put me next to him. I feel like I've never stood next to anyone and got exposed. I feel like anyone I stood next to, I exposed something. And I think that's a great quality or whatever trait to have, the bubbly roundness, fullness, the conditioning I bring, the shape I have. Once I add more tissue to that, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, because like I said, we're what, 212? I'm gonna look like I'm 250.
I think you're right. I mean, another 10 pounds for you. And I was actually saying that to one of the guys earlier, another one of the YouTubers on there. I was like, another 10 pounds on this guy, dude. It's gonna look like double, triple, like it's gonna be ridiculous. It's
Oh
and it's
yeah.
true. It does seem like it's being rewarded more as well. Like I said, Keon just got rewarded for his overall shape, right? I mean, Bumstead he set the standard long ago, but now even with Derek, they're saying the aesthetics has beat out the mass. Derek does have the mass, mind you, but it's that
Yeah.
aesthetic quality that everybody's saying this is why Derek got the victory, and this is the direction that bodybuilding has been moving in the past
Right.
number of years here. So that's a playing field that you can play very well on.
Right. And I mean, and as athletes, we all knew that was no, or yeah, we all knew that was coming. Like you seen Tyler, I believe, was judging every show,
Yeah.
this past, and he was picking what he knew he wanted that division to be, whether it was NPC to whether it was IFBB. So I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise, and people probably should change the way they do things. But they rely on mass a little bit too much, and they come in soft. The smaller guy with aesthetics comes in, hard and conditioned, and they wonder why they lost. It's like, well, I'm doing what the standard is while you're trying to do your own thing.
I mean, you can't argue with it. It's what is being rewarded now, and it doesn't
Right.
surprise me in the least. You're always going to have that mass factor, and it's always going to be something that people are drawn to. I mean, you look at even Nick and Crizzo especially. I mean, there is a level of aesthetics to the amount of mass that he has, where you do find a certain amount of balance, which took him to, I mean, the placing just ahead of you, right?
Right.
But the fact that that guy is as big and as heavy as he is, with we're going to say less aesthetics than what you have, absolutely. You were right behind him, and he had a ton of muscle on you.
Right. And that's what you get with a lot of these predictions too. Is I'm not no, I won't say that because there's the fans who are commenting, who say, well, this person has bigger arms, so they're going to win. Or they have bigger legs, they're going to win. And it's like, well, if you put them together, you know, what completes him as a bodybuilder and what completes this person as a bodybuilder, that's who's going to win. And if we're being honest, I mean, I don't think internet actually does any justice, but nighttime came and Crizzo came even better.
Yeah.
And if you look at his tanning, it wasn't too dark. Like he could have got sprayed a few more times and showed more. So I mean, I think Crizzo could have moved up if he wanted to as well. He chose not to get sprayed darker.
Yeah, he was light last. His tan was really light last year, man. It
Mm-hmm.
was way too light. And you're right; it probably did cost him potentially a couple of placings.
Oh yeah, because like you said, someone that big, and I wouldn't even say his waist is that big, or maybe his body is so big that his waist looks small. I don't know,
That's
but
what it is. It's the
yeah,
illusion of the fact that his shoulders are so wide and his quads are so big, right? Yeah, that's what it
right.
is. But it
So I
works.
mean, I think he can definitely move up if he, you know, put that time into that and came in darker, even just that alone. Because backstage when he, under the right light and he's in his most muscular shots, he strided through the whole chest, and you
Yeah.
didn't really see it the same on stage. So and same with his back shots too. I know people were commenting on his glutes. They needs to work on them. Backstage, you seen that his glutes were striated. On stage, you couldn't really tell how deeply they were striated.
Yeah, what people are saying about his glutes is that they're not big enough, and you know
Yeah,
he'll come out and tell you it's like, dude, this ain't a glute competition, bro. This ain't
yeah.
wellness. Like,
Wellness.
come on. And that's what I always say too. Like in my videos, I always say, like, I was like, it's not a glute competition, man. You're getting
Yeah,
way too hung up on the glutes here, bro. Like, it's just
right.
let's look at what about the arms? The guy's got the biggest arms in fucking bodybuilding, you know, like
Yeah, and they're
incredible,
bigger in
dude.
person. It's crazy.
I bet they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet they are.
yeah. I definitely
Yeah,
see why they get so much attention.
but a guy like that, he doesn't have any more. Well, not to say he doesn't have any more size to put on. I'm sure that he could and he may, but not in the way that you really have, you know, like you were saying, that extra 10 pounds is going to look like 20, 30, 40, whatever the number is, it's going to be substantially more, you know?
Mhm.
So next year is going to be a whole new ball game. Now you qualified early in the season this year for the Olympia. Was that a good strategy for you, or do you feel like maybe qualifying later in the season might work better for you?
I think getting qualified early works. Especially if you did the Olympia and you catch that rebound, and then you do another show and you catch the other rebound, you're going to be bigger come that following Olympia. I think also waiting though, you give your body time to get healthy, readjust, and it actually responds better. I think it depends on that person's mental more than anything. With me right now, I'm like, yo, don't even talk to me about chicken and rice.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to hear it. And but you got people who are ready to get back on it. I was talked to about doing the Detroit Pro,
yeah.
which
Fuad
is
show,
new
yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was talked to about doing that one, which sounds crazy the way they're running it and the prize money they're putting up for it. And it's like how they used to do it back in bodybuilding when they said, we will cater to the athletes by driving you from the hotel to the venue, dropping you off and doing what you got to do or whatever. So, I mean, I'm something I'll probably talk to Justin about, which is, I believe it's in April. Yeah, it's like April 4th or 20th or something like that. Somewhere in April. So it's definitely something, I mean, why not? I'm not easy to, or it's not hard for me to lose weight. Um, it's not hard for me to stay in shape all year round. I walk around lean, even when I'm just eating McDonald's and Pizza Plus.
Is that the diet right now?
Oh yeah, that I've had. Right after the show, I had pancakes and French toast,
Yeah,
Oreo milkshake. When I was flying back, of course I had to grab my McDonald's
yeah, yeah,
and it's what, two sausage egg muffins, two hash browns, orange juice. Gatorino
yeah.
got the same thing again. And I'm already thinking about what I'm making next. So I think my weight is up like 30 pounds now. Yeah, already.
I was gonna. How much is it up?
30. Yeah, about 30. No, 20, 28, 29 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, 28 pounds up from 212.
Yeah. From the
Holy shit,
215, from 214.8. Yeah.
214,
Yeah.
dude,
I told Justin, I was like, bro, when you see my check-ins, or see my first set of check-ins, I'm gonna be 250. I'm letting you know.
dude. That
It was
that's
crazy.
that's a rebound, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm checking my ankles and like my hands and everything. No water retention. I'm still vascular. Like it's crazy. So we're still
And that's
good.
at that's after day, dude. That's after day one. Come on, man. Like
Oh yeah.
you still got a long road, but you still got like another day for a rebound to really hit it. Like that's nuts, at
Hmm.
least.
Oh yeah. And I plan on, taking the family out to eat and enjoying some real food. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
on the buffet.
You're damn right. What's your go-to buffet?
Well, we have a few casinos. There's one at the Atlantis and one at the can't think of the name. But the one at the Atlantis is the best one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know, like the mashed potatoes, the the greens,
Okay.
the crab legs. I'm getting hungry right now. Oysters, mussels. I'm like,
You're gonna get off this. You're gonna go stuff your face, man. Yeah.
Oh man, I got all the snacks too, like Reese's and Mountain Dew. That's my go-to snacks.
Reese's and
Reese's,
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew,
Yeah.
hot Cheetos. And it's funny because my oldest, he's the same way. Like he'll eat and he'll be like, "Oh, I'm full." And then you look over at him, he's eating hot Cheetos or he's drinking a Mountain Dew or he's eating Reese's. I'm like, dude, I rubbed off on you a little bit too much.
He's got your genetics too. He's doing football now. You think he'll get into bodybuilding?
Oh yeah, he loves coming to
Yeah.
shows. He wanted to come to Olympia, but because it was sold out, and I didn't want to have to worry about him while I'm backstage and him sending the crowd.
Yeah.
So he just
Yeah.
watched it from watch what he could from home because his game, like I said, was Saturday as well. But any time I can take him to a show, like he went
Yeah.
to Cal, he went to Legion when I won that one, and he was actually on stage posing at Legion when after prejudging, he went up on stage and he was like hitting the front last break.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I know he'll go that route, at some point. But till then, he's focused on football, and I'm gonna help him get as far as I can with that.
It seems like football's a good base, man. It seems like it's a good base. I was actually going to go to the Olympia myself this year, but things just didn't really line up. It didn't make sense to go this year in particular for me. Like we're going to be doing another family vacation here. My kids are still young, so if we're going to spend the money, spend it on that. And plus, it gives me another year to really build this up too. So if it like the plan would be to go to the Olympia in 2024 and get that media pass and hit it hard that way. But
Right.
it made more sense for me to cover it from here this year. And I'm actually glad that I didn't end up getting to go for a couple of reasons, I guess. Nick being out was one thing that was a big one for me. But yeah, 2024 is the plan for me.
Yeah, definitely. Which sucks too because I did want to see Nick get on stage and do his thing. When Matt dropped those pictures, that was a different Nick. So I would definitely love to see where he would have with that. And I definitely seen him at the top and more than the bottom side.
Once those pictures dropped, dude, the internet was exploding. Like
Yeah.
it's like, wow, we just watched the guy who was probably going to win the show have to drop out. Like it was pretty drastic. The difference in those pictures. I went back and I looked at some of his pictures from around a week out from last year. And dude, night and day, unbelievable the progress that he made, and the scale didn't really move very much for him.
Right.
Unbelievable, man. It was a shame the fact that he couldn't be there, and it affected the entire show. I mean, everybody got a chance to move up, which is great for you guys, right? But and he wasn't the only one, but yeah, you're gonna see him come back with a fucking vengeance next year, man. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. And that's one thing I like really, really, really like about Nick.
Yeah.
You see the bashing he gets, He has a lot of fans, but the hate he has is like, man, people wish death on this dude. Like it's crazy. But it lights a fire under his ass to where it's like, you want to play this game? Let me show you what I can do. And he does it, So I mean, I love that about him. I'll say it this way and explain why, but this little hamstring issue he has isn't going to slow him down. And I say little because I know in his head he's already thinking, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show him that this means nothing, So I don't know. I'm always gonna, root for Nick. I've met him a few times. I've talked to him a few times. Man, the dude's humble. He's welcoming as well. So I mean, people don't actually, take the time to meet us as bodybuilders. They just assume, who we are, what we are, and once you, actually open up your heart to meeting people, you see that it's not really what people think it is or say it is. I'll say.
That's one of the reasons that I like doing what I do here. I've had you on here. I've had Kareth on here. The physique is definitely what people are showing up to see, right? But there's so much more to the sport when it comes to just, you guys and who you are, how you approach things is really a reflection of who you are as a person. And I mean, this sport can be brutal, dude, when it comes to the comments that some people leave, right? And there are those who would just simply call it passion, but there's a difference between passion and just outright negativity and hate, dude. And it's out there,
Hmm.
you know, it's unfortunate, but it's out there. On my channel, you don't get that a lot. I will say that. There's a lot of respect out there at the same time. But it's good to be able to, you know, have guys like you on here and just be able to chat about, you know, just the experience that you've gone through beyond the physique. You know, it's maybe Nick wouldn't like this, but it's a little bit more humanizing almost, you know.
Yeah.
But it is something that a lot of the fans do appreciate, you know, and I appreciate you coming on, dude, just to be able to talk about it.
Oh yeah. Anytime, bro. I mean, I'm open to talk about anything. I don't,
Yeah,
I don't try to hide anything or, I mean, I know my Instagram looks like I'm secretive about, my life because I don't open it up, for the most part. But I mean, I get fans or supporters, I'll say, who ask plenty of questions and I'm not scared to answer them. I'd rather tell you what it is before you go and find out the hard way.
yeah,
And then the negative comments we get. I mean, oh man, like a few comments on under a few of my posts, where I'm defending, Justin because people are bashing him or, Aaron Ebanks.
yeah.
People were just bashing him about, from the press conference saying how Brandon was crying or whatever. And then as soon as the Olympia ends, they go in there commenting like, you got third, like now what? And I'm like, so, I'll go comment. I'm like, yo, you're bashing him for getting third best physique in the world. This is something that you can never say you've done, and you're trying to take it away from this man. And so it's crazy how much tearing down people do instead of building up. And like you said, as athletes, people don't know the mental stress it causes. Like, be honest with you, 5 weeks out of Olympia, I was gonna pull out. I
Okay.
wasn't gonna compete. Yeah, I went to a dark place. I have a past. I get triggered by certain things very easily, and I get consumed by, I would say, darkness to where in my mental I'm not thinking straight. Um, and I had Justin on FaceTime with Joey, and they're watching me have a breakdown, and they're like, "Dude, just maybe let's pull out. Like let's get your mind back. Justin was telling me to get back with my therapist. Like so much was going on, and they stayed with me the whole way. Joey, Justin, Quinn were with me the whole way through. I went into a depression to where I told Justin, I was like, let's do check-ins again and see how I look, and we'll go from there. And we did check-ins, and he was like, all right, I think we should pull it. You just look, the look is gone right now. But when he said it, it felt like a knife went through my heart. It didn't feel right. And I told him, nah, we're going to figure this out. So I don't know, snap back. Everything started working again. And the biggest thing, and Justin is great for reminding me, is dude, think about your boys. If you let yourself go and you fail on this, what are you teaching them? And I look at them, I tell them I never want them to quit. You know what I mean? And I'm never going to teach them how to be a quitter. So you deal with shit like that outside of bodybuilding. But then you have these other people who get on there and tell you how shit you look, and how you're not ready and you're not going to do good. So you're doubted even more. I grew up never being believed in. I was always the one being doubted, whether it was with sports or in school or whatever. So finally getting support from, I don't call Justin a coach, but a brother.
Yeah.
Joey, my opposing coach, he's a brother. Quinn, who's a friend, is a brother. They were with me the whole way. Anytime I got down, they were right there picking me up. Comments that were made, they were right there picking me up. This year's Olympia, Justin came backstage after prejudging and he gave me a hug and instantly I just broke down. Um, it was just me, I didn't have family down there with me. I didn't have friends, significant others, just me. Justin even said that. I know what it's like to be celebrating alone, you know. Um, we went back to the room. I had my emotional breakdown, but Joey called me the following day and I broke down again, right before finals to where Justin was worried. He was like, oh shit, like, dude, you're gonna you're gonna stress, you're gonna hold water. Like, he was stressing to where Joey called me and he gave me that big brother moment. Hey, snap this shit out of it. Like, dude, look what you're about to do right now. You're being tested by the devil. Like, pull your head out your ass. Like, let's get it. So it's good to have people in your corner. So when people say bodybuilding is a selfish sport or a single person sport or whatever, it's not a team sport, it's 100% a team sport, because this shit is not easy when you're hungry and your coach is telling you to go lift and do this extra rep and go do this cardio, and then you're dealing with people talking their shit, and then you have to handle your sponsors, and like it gets hard. And so I think that's why when I do see athletes being attacked, even if it's not about me, I'm gonna go say something. If we have nobody there for us, then we got to be there for each other. And I just said that on one of my posts because people are going at Ebanks. I'm not going to sit and watch your brother get kicked. I'm not going to let him get jumped. He was first place in the world. Now he's third. Like, yeah, that shit hurts, even though we're like, you should be proud still. But to go that far back, it hurts. He's down right now. Now I'm going to be there and I'm going to lift you up. This is what we need in this sport. This is what makes bodybuilding better. As a professional bodybuilder, when we're backstage, no one is an enemy. No one. Everyone talks to everyone. Everyone's laughing. We're helping each other out. If we see something on someone, whether it's their tan or their posing trunks or anything, we let them know. We help each other. But you have fans who try to turn us against each other. So I don't know. It's a lot with this sport that I don't like. And it's not because of the sport. It's because of the fans. It's fun when we talk shit to each other, but when they make it personal, then it's kind of like, so what do you want us to do? If we talk shit and then we lose or something, you guys make it personal. So all right, we won't do it. Now it's a boring sport.
If there's one thing that I can tell you about the people that you're referring to as fans in particular, these are not the true fans of the sport. These are the fly-by-nighters that you find on Instagram. These are the trolls of the posts that you're referring to. These people do not understand the sport, so you cannot expect them to really have an informed decision. And especially some people are just, I mean, you know it as well as I do, whether it be in bodybuilding or out of bodybuilding, like some people are just trash, man. And some people, they have no recollection of putting anything out there except what they've either been given themselves, of constant negativity. So they reflect that on others. They're not happy with themselves, so they put it out there on others. And they have no idea, nor do they have any consideration for anything that you or any other athlete goes through in order to put this out there. You guys do it for yourselves. You're doing it because it's a career. You're doing it because you have passion, because you love it. There's no question there. But when you get to the level that you're at, you're also doing this, for the fans. It's the true fans of the sport that you will find. And I see it on your page and I see it on my page. The true fans of the sport do support you guys, not just as athletes, but they do support you guys as individuals. Look at what happened just with Nick. I had so many comments on my page of people that were just like, look, I am not a fan of Nick's physique. I'm not. But I respect the hell out of that guy. I didn't want to see this happen to him. And it saddens me that he could not be on that stage. And that right there, those are the true fans of the sport. And those are the people that show up to my page. And it's people like that that really make me want to keep making videos, man. There really are positive communities out there. And if you want to search them out, you can find them. If you want to find your negativity, yeah, you can go find that too. But the difference is, like you said, at the end of the day, the concentration factor. What are you going to put your thought process into, right? Are you going to let whatever it is that's in front of you break you down? Or are you going to take it as a challenge to overcome and then get 8th place in the fucking world?
Right,
me, buddy. I didn't know he was down here.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. I know. But listen, that's the reality of it, man. There's a lot of negativity out there, but thankfully, I find in my community of bodybuilding that there is a lot of positivity, and I brought that when I started covering you in New York. I didn't get negative comments from anything I would put up on you. In fact, quite the opposite. People were very, very impressed even before New York with what you were putting out there. So, it's all good, man. And you know what? I'm glad that we could establish that for the listeners. consider what some of these guys actually go through before you just, throwing words around online, right?
Oh yeah, and that's why I tell people, especially with my boys, you're going to be judged, dude, off choices you make, and people don't know the choices you had to choose from, like and they ask what that means. I don't get detailed with it, but like I said,
Yeah.
I had that past. I had to do certain things to be able to do certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Living for my family, or man, when me and my sister were in high school together, we
Sure.
didn't get the lunch money. We were my mom would give us $2 in nickels and dimes, and that was our lunch money.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm thinking like, yeah, I can't survive off this, So we figure something out. I'm gonna figure out how I can help me and my sister, not starve at lunch. We can go eat breakfast and dinner. You know, I chose the choices that I had. I dealt the cards that I had, and people don't know that. We're just judged right away. But when it comes to the sport, if I put it this way, if fans want to see great bodybuilding, they have the power to make that happen, and that's by being positive and engaging and lifting us up. The more you tear down and spread this negative and all that, you're distracting. I have a lot of fans. Sorry, I have a lot of supporters on my page who comment good things, and I do my best to respond back to them.
Yeah.
It means a lot. I've never had that before. So to hear positive now on my name instead of the negative, hell yeah, I'm entertain that. You people said someone just commented under one of my videos with my little dude, saying about bodybuilders being narcissists, and he was like, "But you're showing that is not true." And although there's some that you will say that there is, I feel like I'm not a body. I won't say that I'm a bodybuilder. Like it's not who I am. It's just what I enjoy doing. At the end of the day, I'm a man of God. I'm a father. I'm a family man. That's who I am. I love helping people. I was that bully. I was that guy hurting people. It didn't feel good. I like this person I became. My kids love it. So this is what I'm gonna stick to, and this is what I'm gonna teach them. This is what I'm gonna spread. This other negatives just not worth it. It's draining and it's pointless. And that's what I ask people every time. What was the point of you making that comment? And they never respond back. They
No,
almost just delete the comment.
I know what you mean, man. I was, in my early 20s, I was angry, man. Like I was, I actually in the early 2010s, I was a correctional officer, and I felt like I was going out there, especially when we were training for the program. I felt like I really had something to prove, not to myself, but to everybody else. And the way that I did that was through anger. I graduated at the top of my class of 37 people in my squad. I graduated best all around cadet, squad 38. And I did it on anger. I worked in the jail. Anger is what got me through. Personal issues, anger is what really got me through. It wasn't until shortly after I really became a father that I really changed my perspective on things like that, right? And like you said, those are the things that really make you want to progress in bodybuilding in life. It all comes full circle. So no, it's all good, man. It's all good, and I hope people really realize that, right? Just take some more positivity into your own life. You'll feel better and you'll live longer too, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
most
for sure.
definitely. Less
Yeah.
energy wasted, you
Yeah,
know.
that's the big thing, man.
And then as men as well, it feels good be be able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I grew up, like you said, with anger. That was the defense. That was the protection. That's how I got through. Where I grew up at, you didn't know what was going to happen when you were walking to school, when you were sleeping at night. So you slept below the windows. We didn't have beds to sleep on, you know. Or if you're walking to school, you made sure you walked the way you seen the traffic coming. And if cars went a little too slow for your liking, you were ready to go, because you don't know what's going to happen. And you had to be this aggressive kid because you didn't know if you were going to have to fight that day. Whether it was walking to school, walking home from school before practice or whatever. At some point when it was too late, we didn't even go home. We just all walked together to the closest friend's house because it was safer that way. And now, you know, it. And when my youngest was, or my oldest was born, sorry, I was tough on him. I would, he would cry or something. I would get on him, dude. Stop crying like a girl. Like it's not killing you. What are you crying for? And it wasn't until I started to work on myself and go to therapy and everything to where I see how much I ruined him in a way. To where when he's hurt, he won't cry. He'll start laughing. And I know it's him hurting, And so I had to explain to him, like, dude, it's okay to feel these emotions. Like, you don't got to
Yes.
hide that for nobody. So I'm just trying to work on, opening that with him. And I think as, men as well, we have our issues too. And we need each other to lean on and talk to. But if we're all acting tough and bashing the next person, it's going to drive us all crazy.
Look, man,
Weights, lifting, gym shouldn't be therapy. Gym should be fun. But what do we all say? It's our therapy.
yeah, you're right. You're right. That is what everybody says, And don't get me wrong. Look, my gym is right behind that door. I've had a day or two where I've had to go down and like, I'm just going to work something out here for a few minutes, right? But ultimately, no. The therapy is being able to, work on yourself. And look, dude, you've done the work in more ways than one, and this just shows it, right? I mean, it really does go to show. You put the effort forward, man. You've got that self-recognition, and you can take on the challenges. And like I said, dude, you're sitting at 8th best in the world right now, in whatever it is that you want to pursue. Not everybody's going to have the genetics. I don't want to say that you can go and be, the best bodybuilder, but if you're looking to put an effort into the highest level of what you can do with yourself, like, dude, there you go, go after it.
Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, if you work at
Yeah.
McDonald's, be the best burger flipper there is, be proud of what you're doing. No one can take that from you.
I try to check myself sometimes when it comes to diving, because like I've been a diver my whole life, like, do I want to be the best diver? Well, I also own this company, so to try to be the best, company owner as opposed to the best diver, because you can only, spread yourself so thin as well. So there's
right.
There's always, the balance in there as well. But that's just part of the road to success. So it seems like you've got the winning formula that you really figured out this past year, man. And you put that forward for the next year coming, and dude, I really think that you're going to be setting your sets even higher next year. Like, I know you were saying top 6 this year. I won't be. We'll see how you feel after you do Detroit. If it's Detroit that you're going to do, we'll see what you figure then.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. I mean, I know no matter what route we go, I'm assuming it's staying open because that's what I want to do.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to be better, and that's if anyone and everyone shows up to Olympia, we're going to do better. I seen it was funny. I got tagged in the story that Nathan Diasha posted.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys think you're really that, come out here and compete with me. Is what he was getting to.
I did see that one. Yeah. I was
great,
waiting who's going to take the challenge. I mean, dude, but we'll see anyway. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see you standing next to Nathan. Actually, that's actually a comparison. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's a comparison that I want to see, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we have similar physiques. Because we both get the same thing. Oh, they have long torsos. But people don't realize how many shows he's actually won.
11 now.
And yeah, he's a bully, when it comes to him doing shows. Like, he handles it. I think I actually reshared that story that I was tagged in. And right when it posted, Justin, my coach, was like, no, wait till after so your phone's not blowing up. Take it down. It's I just did the interview on it, and I mean, like I said, when it comes to bodybuilding, and each bodybuilder's talking, their shit to each other, it's funny. People love it. It builds something. Yeah. So right away, I like re-shared it, and I hashtag no tail tucking, because I'm like, yo, if I can fly out there, I'll go. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, and your coach just knew if your coach didn't get a hold of you first, you were getting a hold of him like minutes before. I'm sure. Yeah.
Right away, he was like, "No, take it down."
Look, the fans would have loved it. I'll tell you that right now. But
definitely.
I'll let Nathan do his qualification. You get yours, and 2024 Olympia is just around the corner, dude.
Right. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like, same thing with the press conference too. Like you look at the older bodybuilders when they did it,
Yeah.
man, you had them, getting stripping down and posing. They should do things like that. It's very, I feel like it's very like watered down now. People are scared to like, you know, talk a little shit. Like fans love that. Have fun. I said it. I don't know about them, but I'm fighting, or they're fighting for second because I'm gonna win again. Everyone laughed at that. Everyone thought that was funny. But I think people make it too personal, and people attack each other, and it's just like now we can't even enjoy it. You just made this batch.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. The fans do like the fans do love that stuff. I mean, everybody loves to see the confidence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
especially when that confidence is backed up at the end of the day, right? And the
Right.
deliveries there, dude, people go nuts. I go nuts. Like it's awesome to see that shit. I love it, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah,
But no, that's
definitely.
it's not going to be long. I mean, like you said, April's just around the corner. Hopefully, we won't hold you to it. It'd be awesome to see you do that show. Relatively speaking, I mean, I'm not going to go to Detroit. You're not far from where I'm at, though. I'm up in I'm in Eastern Canada. I'm in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
You can't get any further east where I'm at unless you hop a ferry over to Newfoundland. So it's starting to get cold now. That's why I got this fucking hat. Like it's it's starting to get cold here, bro. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I know. My sister wants me to go because she's in Washington. She's in Oak Harbor, Washington,
Oh
which
yeah,
isn't too
yeah,
far from the border
yeah.
of Canada. And so I know it gets cold up there, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'll wait a little bit.
It's beautiful here in the summer, but yeah, the winter, no.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, no, it's not for anybody. But listen, dude, I'm gonna call it right here. It was awesome to have you on the channel, man, and congratulations on your eighth place finish at this year's Olympia. Like I said, the road is looking like it's going up for you, dude, and I'm really excited to see your journey. Moving forward this year. Everybody else is excited to see what you got in you, and you know what? I know you're gonna deliver.
Oh yeah, big things are coming. Big things are coming. I promise. No matter what it is, everyone's gonna be excited. So stay
Well,
tuned for the excitement.
we'll be staying tuned. That's for sure. Well, look, I'm gonna call it there. Thanks a lot for coming on, dude. This is another episode of the Bodybuilding Breakdown. We'll catch all you guys next time.